Committee of Parole is called back to order. Our next case is going to be Mr. Christopher Morvant. Mr. Morvant, please give us your full name and DOC number.
You don't have to get up to it.
Christopher J. Morvant, DOC number is 388463.
Thank you, sir. Mr.
Yes,
Morvant, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record, and then the board is going to conduct a parole interview with you.
Yes,
At the appropriate time, we will allow the participants who've indicated they wish to speak to have their input. Speaking here on your behalf is Ms. Lolian Bado, who is a friend of yours. Speaking in opposition, we have Ms. Riley Bergeron and Ms. Rachel Bergeron. Also in opposition, but not speaking, will be Ms. Jesselyn Maturin and Sonny Dupuy. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes. Do you understand our process, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
This is the matter of Christopher J. Morvant. Date of birth, July 31st of 1971. He's classified as a fourth felony offender. He has a parole eligibility date of May the 6th, 2023, an adjusted good time date of May the 11th of 2024, full term date of May the 5th of 2038. He is currently serving a 20-year sentence on the charges of possession of methamphetamines and aggravated destruction of a highway, having been sentenced on December the 10th of 2018. Mr. Morvant, is this all accurate?
Yes, sir.
Your case has been assigned to Mr. Alvin Roche. Mr. Roche will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Thank you, Mr. Morvant.
Yes, sir.
Looks like you're having a problem hearing. Can you hear us?
It cuts out a little bit, but I can hear you now.
Now, at any time during this hearing that you can't hear me, let me know,
Yes, sir.
because I want you to get my message clear, and I want you to get it right.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Morvant, you are currently, what, 51 years old?
Yes, I am.
And you are a fourth felony offender, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
An extensive criminal background,
Yes, sir.
and you served only less than 5 years on your 20-year sentence, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have a habit and a history of beating up on your family,
I have.
and that is unacceptable.
Yes, sir.
What's your job at DCI?
I work in the automotive department, a mechanic shop.
Are you a licensed or trained mechanic?
No, sir. I just work in the department. I'm in charge. My job is to fix all the tires and maybe some small mechanic work if needed.
Okay, so you basically do general repairs, tires and batteries and things like that.
Yes, sir.
What was your job before you worked in the auto shop?
That's the only job I've ever had.
Okay. And you've been at DCI since you've been incarcerated?
Yes, sir.
Are you a Pride member?
Yes, sir.
When was your last disciplinary write-up?
I've never had one, sir.
So you can act right while you're incarcerated, and as soon as you get out, you go wild.
That was me in the past, and I have made some changes to that.
So the statement you made about you're gonna burn the house down,
Hmm?
which your family lives in, that's no longer true.
No, I would not burn a house down.
Okay. Have you had access to a telephone while at DCI?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
Have you had access to a cell phone while you're at DCI?
No, sir.
Okay, so you don't send text messages.
No, sir. I have never possessed a cell phone in DCI.
Okay. So you're not able to send text messages.
No, sir. The only messages we are allowed to send is through JPay on our tablets.
Are you sending messages through your tablet?
You only can send a message when the party that wants to receive messages from you has to have you on their JPay. They have to put your information.
Well, I have information in my report that some of the victims are receiving messages from you and your friend.
It's not possible to receive a message.
I just want to put it out there.
Yes, sir, I understand, but there's no way that you can send a message without that individual be logged in or with your information to allow you to do that.
So this is not going to be the usual interview. We're going to cut right to the chase.
Yes, sir.
We're going to cut right to the chase. There is enough negative behavior in your jacket to deny you at the very moment.
Yes, sir.
You have a extensive criminal background. You have a terrible supervision history. You have a history of violence and domestic abuse. You have law enforcement opposition. You have victim opposition. I don't think you've taken enough necessary rehabilitative programs to solve your problem. It's just enough to just stop it and deny you right now. But you have a good time date in early 2024.
Yes, sir.
And you have a problem. You have a serious problem. And I would be derelict in my duty if I didn't do something about your two problems. You have problems with domestic abuse, and you have problems with drugs and alcohol.
Yes, sir.
You agree with me?
Yes, sir. And I have made some changes with that and stepped in.
Mr. Mulvaney, I'm speaking. I want to ask you a question when I want you to speak.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm very serious.
Yes.
You have a problem, and we have to do something about that problem before you release.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mulvaney,
Yes, sir.
you need some serious substance abuse treatment. Along with that, you need to complete a domestic violence abatement program.
Yes, sir.
So you can learn about domestic abuse, learn to control your temper, and not put your hands on people you're supposed to love,
Yes, sir.
your family. Your family is traumatized at the thought of you being released because you are so violent. And when you're scheduled to get out in early spring of 2024. So I'm going to order. I'm not gonna suggest, I'm not gonna ask, I'm gonna order you to a domestic violence offender program at Bossier Medium Facility in Bossier, Louisiana. That's the only one that I know of in the state that deals directly with domestic abuse. Anger management is not gonna be good enough in your case. You're gonna have some domestic violence treatment before you're released. Along with that program, I'm going to order you to the 9-month Steve Hall Intensive Substance Abuse Program. So you can learn how to control your urges for drugs and alcohol. You will get some good time for those programs. It's going to take you at least 9 months to complete them. And just hopefully, your problems with violence, domestic abuse, and drug and alcohol addiction can be controlled upon release. Your family deserves to live in harmony, peace, and without the threat of violence from a person that is supposed to love them. You get my message?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Because other than you being released in 2024, I would deny you. But you're going to be released. It is my duty to get you as much help as possible before your release. Mr. Marvat,
Yes, sir.
please keep your hands to yourself when you're released.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
Yes, I'm willing to do whatever it needs to be done to live a normal life.
Mr. Chairman.
So, sir, thank you for explaining the communication process and how all that works. But could someone send messages for you to your family? Have you had someone send messages on your behalf to your family?
No, ma'am. I have not talked to no one else besides my sister on the phone, and any other party in my family I have not had contact with.
Okay.
My sisters and my mother, I talked to her once or twice, and she just so happened to be at my sister's when I phoned. Other than that, I don't call anybody else except for the person that's on Zoom today.
Okay. So where would you live if you're successful today in your parole? Where would you live?
I would leave the state of Louisiana.
Okay.
Because to get a fresh start, to live a normal life, and
And where would you go?
Ma'am,
Where would you apply to go?
I would apply to go to Iowa.
Who is in Iowa?
Miss Battle, the one on Zoom, the one that's here on Zoom.
What is that person's relationship to you?
She's my daughter's mother.
Okay, your daughter's mother.
Yes.
Okay. Is your daughter there in Iowa?
No, ma'am. She's in Louisiana.
I'm not sure that that's gonna pass the ICOPS rule, because it has to be a family member. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, she was living there, then now she's back in Louisiana right now.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if she's gonna return there or
Okay.
not.
I'm just letting you know,
Yes.
for your ICOPs, though, you won't have to meet that relationship mandate on our ICOPs. You have to be related. So that's why I'm asking. But I like that thought. I like that. I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you're the father of 5 children.
yes, ma'am.
What you gonna say to them?
I have one remaining child that's not an adult. And,
Okay.
and me and the mother would discuss, because she works with me really well, and we would discuss the terms on us sharing him as far as being out of state. And
Okay.
I think she would work with me very well. With that, she has never given me any problems.
Okay. So you have 4 other children. All your other 4 children are adults. Is that
Yes.
what you tell me?
Yes.
And what kind of relationship do you have with them?
My relationship with them is not the greatest because I wasn't always there. And I was always incarcerated and out of their lives. And I'm sorry to say that I missed that. I could have been a better father, but due to the drugs and alcohol, it affected my life, and it was really unmanageable. And to change that, I gave 100% in trying to better myself since this started, the time to make a change. And I have successfully completed 10 classes, and I made it a point to do so, to make a change, because I was walking in darkness. And how else are you going to make a change if you don't do something about it? And that's what I have here today. And I admit I wasn't the best person, but I have made a change, and I am very sorry to the rest of the people who lives with what happened in the past. And I really apologize for that. And I can't express that enough.
Good, good, good. So how old is your minor child?
He's 9.
Oh, okay, okay. And if the mother does not want the child to see you or work out with you, how you gonna handle that? If the mother says no and not cooperate?
What her and I have spoke on the phone here, and she doesn't have a problem with it because we've already talked about it, and she doesn't have a problem with it.
Now, you were saying that the only person you were talking to was your sister. So now you've been.
Well, my sister that would, and the mother, yeah, I forgot about her. I'm sorry. She's on my phone list here at DCI.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can only get so many free phone calls there. I don't have money to put on the phone to call them, but what I meant to say really, and I apologize, is you can only call the people that's on your phone list. That's what I should have said to clarify what I said a while ago.
But we also know that the people on your phone list can call somebody else and connect you.
No, I've never done that.
Okay. Okay.
That's something I've never even gave any thought to.
Okay. That's okay. All right, then, sir. That's all I had. Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Wise, Ms. Gordon, what can you tell us?
Yeah, y'all pretty much covered everything there. He told you where he works and his status and all that kind of stuff. Y'all covered it all.
Good, thank you. Okay, let's hear from Ms. Alolian Batto. Ms. Batto?
Yes, I'm here.
Ma'am, if you will tell us your name and tell us what you'd like us to know about Mr. Morbon.
My name is Lillian Batto. I have my oldest child is with Christopher Movant, and I can tell you he was not there for her. But however, they reunited since he's been there, And my oldest child has bought the youngest brother, her younger brother, which is his youngest son, to visit them. They do have a good relationship. And I can tell you that I do agree with the gentleman, Mr. Alvin, earlier, that he does need some counseling because he has did a whole lot. And if he continues around the same type of people and the same crowd, he will be a product of his environment. So he will remain that way. He has to find a new set of friends. And to my best of my ability or knowledge is that he really should move out of state and start a new life. And that is how I feel, because yes, when he's out there, he did do a lot of bad things, but I can see the progress in him. And it's hard for people to trust him. And I understand that. And it's hard for his family to trust him, but he has to work on himself.
Thank you, Beth, and we appreciate your comments. Now we'll hear from the opposition, Ms. Riley Bergeron. Beth, good morning still. You would just tell us your name and tell us what you'd like us to know.
Spend a lot of bad things to my mother and brother, and I don't believe in Jane because he said that he changed many times, and my mom made a mistake there, and that's the only reason that she took him back, because he would threaten her, and one time she was tried to escape, broke into our house, and had a gun to her head. I blacked out, so I just saw kind of like clips of it, like he was here, and then he was there, and we had some birds, and I got in the further over, and thankfully mom had one of the birds there, and so we all, but we went back to like mom out of the bed and with him. The person say that she my mother in front of us, she checked and did the same for bed. I'm mad for anything that she would talk to one of his friends. He would rage at her and start throwing things. The first time that I got back with first time that I saw him get mad was in a trailer park, and he's in the swimming. He really made me so that and act like he's going to change, but he's not. You know how he's act nice. That's how mom ended up with him. Because he acted like he's friend to the world. And then he started turning into a monster. And I don't think he would change because he's evil.
Thank you very much.
Young lady, you are, you have so much courage. Thank you.
Ms. Rachel Bergeron. Take your time.
What I would like to say is that Mr. Mormont is not spending any time for all the things he's done. My family, he's laid down and all the major devastating things he's done to me. My children were swept under the table by the district attorney from home with the agents. The blood bleeding down to my head, from eyes to my throat, from trying to kidnap me, from breaking through my windows. I couldn't get away from this man. He tried to attack me in the courtroom at sentencing. And the 16th district court up here gave me 2 weeks vacation to go spend time with his child. I think he done this to me. Me and my children have been failed so much. I'm surprised and lucky to be talking to y'all today. This has been going on so long. The lady that speaks behind has been tormented just like me. His child's mother has been tormented just like me. There's so many females that are not strong enough to stand up like me, that are wearing scars all over their body because of him. He's an animal, he belongs in a cage. He does not belong in society. Or someone's gonna die, it's gonna be one of us females that he can't let go. He's a monster. He is an animal that treats people like him. He don't know how to treat no one like a human being. He seeks psychiatrists, helps me, but we can never get rid of the things he's done. It don't go away. And he will not change ever.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your courage being here.
I was running from him to get away from him. I would sleep in my house for the first night, my home, I owned it 13 years. Mr. Morlock comes through my window with a 4-wheeler, shatters my window out, holds me at gunpoint in front of my 2 children. Pours gasoline on me in front of my son, and my son had to douse me down with a water hose. This man needs more than what you are. 9 months won't help it, maybe 9 years. Please help us.
Thank you very much, man. We appreciate your comments. Moving on, is there anything you'd like to say before the panel votes?
No, sir.
Mr. Morvat? We have a good time release date in early spring of next year. If it was not for that good time date, the negative behavior that you displayed over the last 10 years, I would deny you. But I have a duty to get you as much help as possible before your release. I'm gonna grant your release conditionally. And there's 3 conditions. If those conditions are not met, this decision will be rescinded. You understand?
Yes, sir.
First condition, that you complete the Domestic Violence Offenders Program at Bossier Medium Facility. Condition number 2, that you complete a 9-month Steve Paul intensive substance abuse program. Condition number 3, if you complete those 2 programs, you are to leave Bossier minimum and go directly to the airport and get on the plane for Iowa. So while you're in these programs, you should apply for an interstate compact. So it will be approved when you complete these 2 programs. I am conditioning this release that you have an approved out-of-state residency plan. You will not be released to the state of Louisiana. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So you have 3 things to do in the next 9 months. You must get an approved interstate compact to the state of Iowa. You must complete the domestic violence offenders program, and you must complete the 9-month Steve Hall intensive substance abuse program. And I'm serious, when you leave that facility, you need an airplane ticket and go directly to the airport and go to the state of Iowa.
Yes, sir.
After release, you are to follow all recommendations of both of those programs. You must attend at least 3 NAAA meetings a week. And open your ears real wide, because I want you to hear the last condition. You are to have no contact with Rachel Bergeron.
Yes, sir.
You are to have no contact with Rachel Bergeron or any member of her family.
Yes.
If you do so, I have placed an automatic revocation order in your record. If you come within counting distance or in the same vicinity as Rachel Bergeron or any of her family, you will be automatically revoked.
Sir.
You understand my condition?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Miles.
Sir, I just want to appreciate the victims who were here today, the courage that it took to come and just tell your history so succinctly. And I just watched you as they talk, and it's like they talking about somebody else. Very concerning. But I'm going to trust the wisdom of Mr. Roche in this case, and I'm going to vote the same for the same reasons.
Thank you. Mr. Morvant, first off, I'd like to thank the victims here today for the courage to come and Mr. Morvant, if it were not for the fact that you were getting out pretty soon, I think all 3 of us would probably deny your parole.
Yes.
But practical matter, we would rather see you get some treatment, help, because you're gonna get it. So my vote is likewise the same with the same conditions as outlined by Mr. Rocha. Good luck.
Thank you.
There's a lot that I want to unpack here, but I'm going to hold off on it because today, November 16th, they had his second hearing. And there is a lot that happens in this hearing. So I want to jump to his second hearing and then we can unpack and digest this. But if we remember, he had 3 conditions. It's the DVOC program, Steve Hoyle program, and he has to go immediately to the airport upon his release. But with that, let's jump into the second hearing.
Alvin Roche, Ms. Pearl Wise, my name is Tony Marabella. I'll be acting as chair. Our remote location is at Bossier City Jail. Would the staff there at Bossier please introduce themselves? You're on mute. We can't hear you. Could you unmute the mic?
Can you hear us?
Yes, we hear you fine now.
It's Bossier Medium Security, Lieutenant Roberts, Security.
Jessica
Thank you.
Frizell, Steve Hoyle. Catherine Mullins, Department of Corrections.
Great, thank you very much. Our next case is going to be Mr. Chris Morvant. Mr. Morvant, would you please introduce yourself and give us your DOC number?
DOC number is 388463.
Okay, and what's your full name, sir?
Christopher J. Morvant.
Mr. Morvant, let me explain our procedure to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record. Then we're going to conduct a parole interview with you. Then we're going to ask the staff there if they have any input as to how you've been doing while you've been there. Then we'll allow those persons who wish to have any input to speak. We do have one speaker today, and we also have someone just observing. So we have Riley Bergeron will be speaking, and Rachel Bergeron will be observing today. They will be in opposition to your parole. Do you understand once we have that hearing, you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board, and then we'll vote. Do you understand our process, sir?
Yes, sir.
This is the matter of Christopher J. Morvant, DOC number 388463, date of birth July the 31st, 1971. Mr. Morvant is classified as a 4th felony offender. He has a parole eligibility date of May the 6th of 2023, an adjusted good time date of May the 11th of 2024, full term date of May the 5th of 2038. He is currently serving a 20-year sentence on the charges of aggravated obstruction of a highway and possession of methamphetamines, having been sentenced on December the 10th of 2018. Mr. Morvant, is that information basically correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Morvant, your case has been assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise to begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions she might have?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, Mr. Morvan, if somebody come in and ask, where were all of us on January the 10th? We can all say we were at a parole hearing, can't we?
Yes, ma'am.
At the same 3 people.
Yes.
I don't know what the odds of that. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And just kind of quickly recap, you were granted parole on January the 10th of 23 by a parole panel with the special condition that you complete Steve Hall. You completed Steve Hall 7/28 of 23, and that you complete the domestic violence program, and you completed that on October the 27th of 23. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the other stipulation is that you are to be transferred. The grant was conditional on you being accepted to reside in Iowa and not to live in Louisiana. Is that correct?
Wait, what? Say again. I didn't understand.
The 3 conditions were the substance abuse, the domestic battery, the domestic program, and then reside in Iowa. Is that correct?
That was the original plan. Yes, ma'am.
So update us on what happened with Iowa.
Iowa denied me going over there because I didn't have any family members.
Okay, all right. So what if you were successful today, what would be your residence plan?
I have a new residence plan that someone's going to allow me to go there, and I am going to try to continue.
Where is it? Where is it located?
It's in New Iberia. It's in New Iberia. 5503 Sandals Road.
Oh, I think that one has already been denied. That one has been denied. The Sandoff Road has already been denied.
Okay, it would probably be a sober living house.
Yeah, it was denied, that 5503 Sandoff. I guess you didn't get notified.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Yes, sir. Apparently, the officer went there several times and nobody came to the door.
Okay,
And there were different cars there, when the officer went, but nobody answered the door. So they couldn't communicate with anybody. And you may have a digit off or something, we don't know.
all right, yes, ma'am.
That residence is not approved. So you said you're gonna try to go to a sober living house?
Yes, ma'am, that was my other plan.
The family members that live in Iowa, where are they now?
She's still in Iowa. She's just a mother of my daughter.
Oh, okay. Y'all not married, okay.
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they denied because y'all not family, okay.
Yes.
So what else have you been doing since the last hearing? Since January of this year, what all you been doing?
I've been at the Steve Hoyer's program, actively getting treatment for myself. I've completed that of the program. I have also completed the domestic violence program as well.
Yes, sir. I've already stated that for the record. What else have you done?
I just bettered myself with where I need to be, as far as my life's concerned, me returning back to society. Just making a plan for myself.
So what do you do every day now? Where you at?
We can't actively do work here or get involved in much because of the program. The only thing that you can do is when you finish is maybe have a job. They'll allow you to do.
So what do you do?
Ma'am,
So what do you do now every day?
I read books and read sober living books and ways to stay sober. I was accidentally transferred to a work release program for a little over a month, and I pat myself on the back because it had, everything you could think of there, and I choose not to touch any of it, and I stand firm on that.
Yeah, that was on July 28th, and so why you didn't get to stay there?
Ma'am?
Why didn't you get to stay at the work release program? Why they move you back?
Because I was immediately released. They wouldn't give me a job. They stated that in their computer that I was immediately released.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
And Bossier requested me back.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. All right, then that's all I have. Thank you for answering my question.
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Morvant? Anybody there?
You said.
Oh, he stepped out of the room. He doesn't have any write-ups with Bossier. He's done really well in treatment and in the dorm. His attitude has been perfect. Anything we ask him to do, he's doing it with bells on. He did get transferred to work release accidentally. He wasn't quite done with his domestic violence treatment yet, so we requested him back. So it wasn't anything that he did. That was us transferring mistake. But as far as the living situation, while I'm speaking, we can set him up with sober living pretty quickly. We weren't aware that that address fell through. So if that is something that's in the way, we can get him set up within a week or tops.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You were very helpful. Now, Mr. Chris, you recognize that your victims are in New Iberia, and we really don't want you there.
Yes, ma'am.
You recognize that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That was the whole point of you going to Al.
Yes, ma'am. I tried to do that from here and it fell through because I didn't have family
I
members.
understand the follow through. I do. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I understand the follow through. But then when we asked you about the address, it's still in New Iberia, and we rather you not be in New Iberia.
This one would be in Lafayette or
No,
something.
what I'm saying though, the address that you submitted to probation parole that was denied was in New Iberia, and we didn't want you in New Iberia
Right, I didn't have any other addresses at that particular
at that
time.
time. So you just
And-
started thinking about sober living. You just started thinking about that.
Yeah, it was my sister that offered that address.
Oh, okay, okay,
I had no knowledge of that, that she had offered that address.
okay.
But my plan was to go to the sober living house
Okay,
in Lafayette, maybe,
okay,
outside of Liberia.
good to hear.
I just didn't had no knowledge of the address in Liberia that it was offered. It wasn't by me.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Mr. Roche. No. Now we hear from Ms. Riley Bergeron. Good morning, Ms. Bergeron. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you would, please just tell us your name and tell us what you'd like us to know.
My name is Riley Bergeron. I just wanted to say that everything that he has put me and my siblings and my mom through, I don't feel like anything will be safe because even if he lives in Lafayette, he'll still be kind of near us. And no one understands how, the limits he'll go to. There's so much that he hasn't been charged with. And I just feel like that if he gets out, he's not gonna change like he's saying he will. Like, if he goes somewhere, he could send people here. And I feel like it's all an act, but as soon as you said New Iberia, my mom started crying because he's held a gun to her head before. There's so much that no one knows. He's only been charged with a couple things that it makes him seem like he just made a few mistakes. But he's held a gun to my mom's head. He's tried to light her on fire before. He's abused her in front of us, and no one can understand how much that has affected us because we will never be able to forget that. And my sister, she would try to, when he would do things like that, he was really controlling and possessive. It was kind of almost like he was holding us hostage, and my sister would try to be friends with him to make him calm down, to make him not hurt my mom. And I'm just really scared about him getting out because he's been on house arrest before and he violated it. He went to my mom's house. He's been out on the streets on house arrest and had to get the cops had to go to him. But I think that I was even talking about moving me and my mom because he knows where we live. He knows our address. And I feel like nothing else would be safe. We would just have to move not tell anyone our address because he's just a crazy person. He will, if he gets out, I feel like he's just going to be madder than ever because we put him in jail. And I feel like he's going to come for me and my mom and my siblings. And I'm just scared that when he gets out, we're not going to be able to be as, like, we've been peaceful. Life has been so much easier now that he was in jail. But I feel like if he gets out, then that's just going to be taken from us. Because he has no idea what he put us through.
Ms. Bergeron, you're quite a courageous young woman. And I certainly do appreciate the comments that you have made here today. And I can see how difficult it is, and I can see where you're coming from. So thank you very much for being here today and talking with us.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Morvant, is there anything you'd like to say before the panel votes?
Yes, sir. I do apologize to them and their family as well for things that I've done in the past. But that
Sit back, sir. Sit back a little bit from the camera. We can't see you. There you go. Great.
okay.
That's good.
I do apologize for my past, and I've been through this program and over the years, and I've found myself and corrected the mistakes that I have, and the demons that I had inside of me, and there was a lot of drug associated. And now I've gotten past the drug addictions, and my plan now is returning to society is to have sponsors and attend meetings, AA meetings and NA meetings, as much as it takes to stay clean and sober. And if it takes the rest of my life to do that, so be it, But again, I do apologize to them as well as anyone else that I've hurt in the past.
Okay, Mr. Morvant, this panel. Sorry. Okay.
Can I speak?
Yes, ma'am. We'll allow you to speak.
Yes, sir. Mr. Morvant.
You are Miss Rachel Bergeron?
Yes, sir. Rachel Bergeron. I am the ex of Mr. Morvant. Mr. Morvant is blaming drugs for his abuse. Mr. Morvant cut someone's throat from ear to ear and left him for dead. Only spent 2 years in prison. Like my child said, he's held guns to my head, tried to light me on fire. I have a permanent lifetime restraining order on him. He's come across my yard and tried to kidnap me with this permanent restraining order. On the day of his turning himself in to go spend his jail time, he tried to attack me in the courthouse. If y'all let him close to us, I don't see myself living at all. I'm not gonna be able to raise my children. He's come in my house with a 4-wheeler, held me at gunpoint in front of my children. They dropped the charges. I beg and plead of y'all to please not let him come to Louisiana. Please, please put him on house arrest. Please don't let him around this state. We are gonna end up dead. We are in fear of our lives. He has lived this way all his life. I was the first woman to be able to step up and say what he done. He's done this to so many females. Broke scars across this girl's face right after me. I'm glad I'm strong enough to face the monster he is, because no other woman was. He is not going to change. He's been in and out of prison. He's taken these classes before. He has a wonderful speech. He's gonna stay the same devil he is and always was.
Thank you,
We
Ms.
are
Brooks.
not safe at all. I beg of y'all to not let him come to Louisiana.
Thank you, ma'am. We do appreciate your comments. Were you finished, Mr. Morvant? Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now we're good.
I recommend executive session to discuss confidential matters related to.
Second,
There's been a second, been a motion and a second for executive session. Would you please call the roll? Yes.
yes,
Yes.
There's been a vote, motion and a second to move for executive session. It's a unanimous vote. We're going to be at recess. The time is 10:44. We'll be at recess into executive session to discuss matters of a confidential nature. As soon as we are finished in executive session, we will resume this hearing. Time is 10:44.
There he sits right now. Back up the back. Yeah, that's all.
Do you hear that? I can't hear anything. That was intense.
This is going to continue, so we've got to start that.
It was a whole different thing. She said totally different stuff.
And he needs what you're doing. But I mean, you were saying that, you know, I don't have
I want to see an attorney. I want to see an attorney. He's waiting. They know who she really is.
if you don't have to pursue anyone,
Yeah.
I would highly recommend you walking far and quickly away from anything to do with that situation. And that's the only thing that's gonna come and convince me. I'm gonna tell you the truth, that's not, you've got to
Cut all my losses. And
start over and be grateful that you have an opportunity.
that home that you sit in right now belongs to me.
Please,
And that right there.
if I would, I'd write up.
Yeah. And
The house she said belongs to me, it doesn't.
and it didn't even matter. And I purchased it, but I got the meeting flipped out. It's even the first bridge.
That's part of what she's saying, that we need to wash it because of it.
Yeah.
Because if you're, in even that part, you're just bringing it back in. And I had to write it on that house she said belongs to me, because this is the people. This is the people. It is, correct. Now you're telling me something else already. You're already on to the next thing. So you gotta take a pause right now and try and get your.
So to cover myself.
The Committee on Parole will come back to order. We will resume the hearing. The time is 10:49. We are out of the executive session and back into hearing. Is panel ready to vote?
Yes, I am. I have one additional question. Was what the stuff Riley said, was that true?
Ma'am,
What Riley said today, was that true?
but I did some of the things
Okay, so
that,
yes, so the answer is yes.
some things, but not all of it is entirely true. But I mean, I could sit here and try to convince the board all day that.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to. My question was quite simple. Was what Riley said, was it true or false? And your answer is,
Some of what she said is true.
okay, that's good, that's good. I just want to get some clarity, that's all. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. To Riley, I just want to commend you for the courage, for the strength that you displayed today. I'm just excited I'm just gonna be so excited to see what you become when you grow up. You're already an advocate. I don't know if that's law school, I don't know if that's a social worker, but you articulated very well what you saw and your reality. And I want you to recognize that today was a great was demonstrated your healing. You are on the right path. I didn't hear no animosity, I didn't hear no anger. I just heard this is what he did. This is what we lived through. This is what we experienced. That is so healthy and so healing. And I'm just excited to hear about you. Write a letter to the parole board someday and tell us that when I testified on so and so, today I'm graduating from wherever you're gonna be graduating, doing great things, advocating for people. I just admire you so much, Riley. But I do want you and your mom to hear May the 11th of 2024. That's his good time day. By law, he's going to be released on May the 11th of 2024, unless he does something else. And that's just law. That's the calculation of his sentence. Regardless of what happens here today, he'll be released on May the 11th of 2024. So I've listened, and I still stand by my decision in January the 10th of 2023 when I granted you, because it was important that you got the programs that you got. I'm a little disappointed that you didn't talk about it. You didn't mention what you learned. You don't sound like you were on fire for learning, but we've done what we could do. We got you in the seat to learn it. What you do with it's gonna be totally up to you.
Yes,
For me, my vote today is to rescind that grant of January the 10th of 2023. And today I am denying your parole because of the lack of the approved residence plan and the proximity of your good time day, which is May 11th of 2024. I'm going to add a special condition of your good time release that you are to get a residence plan out of state, be it a sober living house or a residence. But that is mine. You release to an out of state residence plan. And you are to return to Louisiana only if you have permission from the receiving state and the sending state's permission for you to come back to Louisiana. They could both have to be on board for, it could be a funeral, it could be something, something happens and you need to come back and you have a travel permit of when you come and when you leave. And I'm also recommending that you get retransferred back to that transitional work program so you have opportunity to make some money, be able to pay your entry fees to the halfway house and things like that. But I'm only one vote, and that is my vote. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Mr. Rochelle.
Mr. Chairman, my vote is the same, under the same conditions as explained by Mrs. Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Rochelle. Mr. Morvant, my vote, we all voted the same way last time we were here. We wanted you to go to a program. You've gone to that program. You've sort of kept your end of the bargain. You did what it is you were supposed to do. And I am likewise a little disappointed. I guess I could have asked you some questions about how you did in the program, what you learned in the program. I wish I would have heard you talk more about that program. But I also heard today the real fear in what you've caused by your crimes. Sometimes we vote to keep people in prison because of what they've done in the effects on the victims. They didn't ask that today. They just want you to stay away from them. They don't want you anywhere near them. And so we've sort of made what we believe is the right compromise. And that is, you've done what we asked you to do. And now we're going to do what they're asking us to do. You're going to get out. You're going to get out in 2024, but you're not to come back to Louisiana. The idea and the plan for this board is for you to get an out-of-state residence, wherever that might be, sober living house. If you have relatives somewhere, perhaps you can go there to stay with them, and you are not to return to the state of Louisiana until and unless your parole officer allows you to come back for a visit, for example, a funeral or something like that. It's the only times that you're going to be able to come back. Do you understand our decision?
Yes, sir.
So the vote today, and my vote is the same. We are going to rescind the vote that occurred and deny your parole based upon a lack of an appropriate residence and the proximity of your good time date, with special conditions once you are released on good time that you get approved residence outside of the state of Louisiana and not to return unless you have permission from your parole supervisor. I want to emphasize that to you, because if you come back at any time, and if I've got anything to do with it, you're going straight back to jail. We clear?
Yeah. So I'm banned from the state of Louisiana.
Sounds like it to me. And let me rephrase that. You have committed such horrible crimes that yes, it requires your being banned from the state of Louisiana unless you have sufficient reason to convince your parole officer you need to return for some specific purpose.
Which would be like court dates or something in that nature?
You have a court date and you get permission from your parole supervisor to come here, you can do that. But I'm going to add, just to make sure, because I'm not sure if we're playing semantics here, I'm going to add that you have absolutely no contact whatsoever with the victims in this case. If you get anywhere near them, that will revoke your parole. Do you clearly understand it? This board intends you to have no contact whatsoever with the victims in this case. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good luck to you.
What can be more terrifying than the idea that this monster is going to be let free regardless of what happens? I fear for the mother and child. I think the board fears for them. This man is a monster. You know, their story of what happened didn't change from the last hearing until this hearing. The only woman supporting him at the last hearing didn't show up at this hearing. And you can see how manipulative and sneaky and scary he is. And also how the system, it seems, might have almost failed to protect it. It was 3 conditions. And one of those conditions from Mr. Roche was you get directly to the airport. And what did he do? He had a residency plan which seemed to have gotten accepted to the point where they sent out the parole officer just to verify it. And it was in Iberia Parish, out of all parishes in Louisiana. And it only wasn't approved, it seems, because no one would answer the door. Now, maybe Mr. Roche would have caught it, or Miss Wise would have caught it, or Mr. Marabella. They were all on fire. I think especially Miss Wise. This was, I give her a hard time, but she just from the first hearing to this hearing rocked it. From the way that they all really, I thought, the way that the respect they showed to the survivors, the daughter, and the message that they passed forward to her was just so much compassion and care. I mean, this for me was what, part of what made me fall in love with a lot of these board members. And for the victims, they even rescinded it and just said it's going to be one more year. But you have to leave Louisiana and you can't come back to Louisiana. I didn't even know. I mean, that can be a parole condition. You almost wonder, is there a lawsuit in there, or are you actually allowed to do that? But apparently you can. And when they said it, he was trying to control himself as much as he could, but I saw boiling under the skin a rage that he was keeping in. And for this family, I mean, I don't know if they're allowed, if they live in an apartment without, but I would just say the first thing you got to do is get a really big dog. Because if I were them, I could never sleep. I would be so terrified. He's going to have the next year just to fantasize about what he would do if he can get his hands on them. And you saw he's like, what? So I can't. And remember, it was the first condition. That's what he wanted in the first hearing. He said he's moving there. Well, somehow he blew the relationship, right? And in the first hearing, they're talking about, well, you're contacting them, aren't you? You're saying you're not. And, oh, I'm not. I could only with you. And he is. He was. He's a bad liar. You saw his rage from the first hearing when he jumped up and he's like, the warden, my favorite warden, the faces the warden was making during the hearing was kind of like what I was feeling. It's and at the beginning, again in the first hearing, I don't know if you caught it, but she said how the district attorney swept her under the table, wouldn't file the charges which she wanted to file, where he pulled a weapon on her, where he lit her on fire. Was that where all he was charged with was obstruction of a highway and meth, and he got 20 years. And when I first heard the hearing, I was like, oh, another classic Louisiana, obstruction of highway and meth, 20 years. But no, what it was is another classic Louisiana, where the DA just like gave these little charges, gave a big sentence, but with a mandatory good time. I mean, he was sentenced in 2018. He served 5 years on the 20-year sentence. And you have this woman and child who are in fear for their lives, and the DA didn't care. Forget that he would show up. Obviously, you can tell the DA didn't care. We have seen many survivors get up, and we have seen many great speeches. And many have. This was very powerful to me. And I thought that what the board said about it was perfect. But we've already seen it. And the scary thing is that, when, well, he's going to have his good time, but you just wonder, is the condition going to be written in stone? Can it be overturned by legal procedure? Is it, is he, and then even then, like he even brought it up, well, for a court date, I can come back. He's going to come back. Now he's going to be backing 15 years if he violates, but you hear about this stuff in the news and in books and on true crime all the time. It's not, I'm genuinely afraid for their family, and they have to take into their hands what, all the necessities to protect themselves. You got to get firearm training where you're comfortable with it. You get a big dog, you get bars on your windows. You got to do everything, because I don't think there's anything else that would stop him. It's just my opinion, but that's the impression I got. Anyways, it's scary. There's no documentation on this that we can share. It's just, yeah. And also I couldn't hear what he was saying at the end of it, what the guard was saying. I kept it on, but I couldn't make it out. But if any of you if you can put it in the comments section on when they had that breakout session. But, and also thank you, Kejun Overcomer, for emailing me and saying, man, do check out this hearing, and for Richard, who put it in a spreadsheet to put both hearings together. So it's always a team effort here. We're one big family. But with that, I'll let you go.